Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Know What to Watch, the podcast where two guys watch random movies and talk about them. With me, as always, is the amazing, the incredible, the Captain Sully Sullenberger to my flock of geese. Here is Kyle Mulford, and I am Noah Saturn. How you doing, Kyle?
Gotta take her down in the Hudson.
Exactly. It's a miracle. You're a miracle worker, I think is what I'm trying to say.
I am a miracle worker.
That's for sure.
Humble brag.
All right.
This is humble brag.
The most humble brag, I'm sure. So this is one of our mini episodes, sometimes maxi episodes, called What You Watchin', where we talk about what we've been watching. Kyle, I think it's your turn to go first.
Sure. This will be quick because I did not watch much. Starting off with, I rented a Blu-ray from the library. I rented Cyrano from 2021. And this is a Peter Dinklage-led musical version of Cyrano. He actually did this on stage, too. And then he reprised
Cool.
He reprised his role for the movie. In a shocking twist that I didn't see coming, I think this leapt onto my top 10 of 2021.
Yeah, I know it was supposed to be really good, but then it just came out at a weird time where I wasn't able to see it.
It must have, because, I didn't hear anybody talking about this one. There was some Oscar buzz. It did get a nomination for, best art direction or costume or something. I don't know. One of those. But, yeah, it's a period piece done by Joe Wright, and I will say, after watching this, Peter Dinklage was robbed of an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. He's amazing in this. It's Cyrano de Bergerac. So, most people know that story. The guy who thinks he's not good enough for the girl, and then another guy comes along and he helps him get the girl. But then he's secretly in love with her the whole time, and turns out she loves him too, and blah, blah, blah.
Don't forget
It
some
was remade in the 80s
swashbuckling.
as Roxanne with Steve Martin.
Yes, I don't think that one had swashbuckling.
Excuse me, sorry. What was that?
I don't think that one had swashbuckling, the Roxanne one.
No, but yeah, this is a musical version too, and I really enjoyed the music. Does Peter Dinklage have the greatest voice? No, but he's got this natural deep voice that worked well for the songs in this. And then opposite him, playing the female lead, was an actress named Haley Bennett, and her voice is amazing. I actually watched this, and then I watched it again with my wife the next night because I'm like, well, you got to watch this movie. And then I've actually listened to the soundtrack several times on Spotify since then. So
nice.
So yeah, in case you haven't figured out, I highly recommend this film.
That's great.
So, then on Netflix DVD, I rented the 2022 film Scream, following in the tradition of the remake pre-sequel thing, The Thing, and what was another one? Oh, and Halloween, and using the same title. Really, this is honestly Scream 5. It does continue. It just has a new generation of kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is I don't know whether to love this or hate it. They did what they set out to do, but they even make fun of movies that use the same title as previous movies, which is what they did. And
Did they talk about Shaft and Shaft and Shaft?
Shaft and Shaft and Shaft. That's one of my favorites. No, but they comment on how movies do that now. And I'm like, so if you comment on that, then it's okay for you to do it because you're self-aware. I don't know. But the thing is the original Scream was very meta and very heavy into what was going on in horror at the time. And now it had a lot to do with the toxicity of fan bases of movies. And I did actually enjoy it. And Neve Campbell and David Arquette and Courtney Cox all came back. And overall, I actually kind of enjoyed this film. I think it fits in with the rest of the series. So
cool.
And then on HBO Max, I watched 1967's Bonnie and Clyde.
Nice.
Just went for a rewatch of this. This is a classic. I don't know what it was about this movie but in college, I swear every college course, every film course I took, I had to watch this because I'm pretty sure I watched this film at least 6 times for college courses.
Nice. I know it's talked a lot about because of the editing for its ending and how it was a rare film, or first critics didn't like it, but then it was reevaluated while it was still in theaters.
And did I read correctly that at the end of the film, this is actually the first film to use squibs?
I don't know if that's. I hadn't heard that.
I don't know if that's true or not. I think I read that somewhere, but I mean that may not be true. But I thought that was interesting if it is. This Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. It's a classic film about this kind of brought back the story of Bonnie and Clyde because I don't think that it was something that was talked about much until the movie came out in '67. So and Bonnie and Clyde were around in the 20s, 30s, bank robbers down in the South. So it also had Gene Hackman. I think this is the very first Gene Wilder role too. He's in it for about 5 minutes.
Nice.
So that's always nice to see him in a movie. But yeah, I'd recommend it. It's on no, it's on HBO Max.
I like to imagine Gene Wilder's playing the same character he does in The Producers.
It's springtime for Bonnie and Clyde.
We're robbing banks. Don't you understand? Gets really nervous about everything.
So anyway, that's on HBO Max. And lastly, I watched on Disney Plus Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers from 2022.
I also watched this film.
This is another like Scream. Bet you didn't hear that one and see that one coming. It is a very meta movie. This tried to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It did not succeed as well, but it's probably one of the better of this type of animated live action mix movies to do what it's trying to do since Roger Rabbit.
Yes, I did like there are a lot of great jokes and characters popping up out of nowhere, like Mr. Natural from Robert Crumb comics. That was unexpected.
I like to see the Paula Abdul and the cat from her Opposites Attract video.
Ugly Sonic was definitely a highlight for me.
Oh, yes, the ugly Sonic. I was like, boy, you really like played that to the like. You just played that as much as you could, didn't you?
The fact that he kept coming back was the best part.
that they just keep staring at his human teeth.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fun moments, and actually there were a couple of Roger Rabbit. I think Roger Rabbit himself was in the film.
He did have a brief cameo.
And then there was a point where the bad guy was looking through all of his tools to torture an animated character, and he's running across all these regular like torture tools, and then there was a bottle labeled "The Dip."
Nice. I didn't notice that.
so yeah, it paid homage to like that. And again, like Roger Rabbit, there was a lot of stuff I was going, Disney had to get the rights to a lot of this stuff, unless I'm mistaken, and a lot of it was like Fox characters or something, that since they own Fox now. But I think there's some stuff in there I was like, Disney doesn't own that. So it'd be interesting to look into that. This is directed by Akiva Schaffer, who is part of The Lonely Island, and Andy Samberg did one of the Chipmunks, and John Mulaney did the other.
Yep. John Mulaney is Chip. Andy Samberg is Dale.
And I liked what they did with like incorporating the show. Like they didn't have them using the chipmunk voices, but there was a reason for that. They explained why they weren't using the chipmunk voices. And then what was great was Tress MacNeille actually came back to play Gadget, who was the original voice of Gadget in the old cartoon. And so that was nice to see her come back and do that.
And then throwing in Dennis Haysbert as Zipper.
As Zipper, yeah, who doesn't talk in Chip and Dale. So
yeah, he just I love like all buzzing noises.
They bring in the deep voice Dennis Haysbert. Yeah, there's a lot of really clever jokes in here, and I overall really liked this one too. It was a fun family movie.
Yep. Also, it can get a little dark.
Yes,
with the whole bootlegging thing, and then with all just.
But it's no darker than Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, still, Roger Rabbit is also pretty dark.
Yeah, exactly. And kids watched that back in the 80s. Kids can watch this.
Yep. It is great.
I did like the whole comment on like plastic surgery in Hollywood with the 3D upgrade.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty great. I got the 3D package.
I also really enjoyed when they went to this certain neighborhood in LA called the Uncanny Valley, which is where all like the weird
that was so fantastic.
And And you even see like a couple of cats from Cats in the background at one point.
Yes, they were fighting over something in the alley, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Uncanny Valley was one of the better jokes. Yes.
And the cheese shop owner was just a Muppet.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was like, was he actually the Swedish chef or was he like just a Swedish chef knockoff?
He was just like a generic Muppet guy.
Yeah, because he was very. You could tell that they were kind of playing off the Swedish chef thing there.
Hmm.
But I liked Seth Rogen's Viking. I'm looking directly at your eyes.
Yes, and then like the Seth Rogen meeting Seth Rogen meeting Seth Rogen.
Yes, that was actually pretty good too.
And then they're all laughing.
Yeah, so I don't want to give away too many of the gags though. There's a lot of gags, and this is worth a look on Disney Plus. Watch it with your kids.
Yep. And
So,
J.K. Simmons as the angry police captain.
which boy,
Because who else
that's
are you
a
going to get?
that's a stretch of casting, isn't it?
Hmm.
But it's so good. And I loved that whole. Yeah, I don't want to say any much more about the plot and everything, but like the jokes hit for the most part with me. So
Definitely.
and that's all I watched. I watched. This was one of my lowest weeks here.
Well, it's pretty around the same, only like 5 for me. So I'll go start throwing them. Then this might actually be a mini episode then instead of like an hour long one, which we would normally do.
All right.
So first one I watched was All That Jazz. We got that as a DVD from the library. And All That Jazz is actually directed by beloved and famed choreographer Bob Fosse, inspired by his own life when, like in the early 1970s, he was trying to choreograph a new show on Broadway and edit a movie he was working on at the same time. So he was working himself so hard, he had a massive heart attack and almost died. So instead of Bob Fosse, this is Roy Scheider playing a character named Joe Gideon as he's kind of slowly working himself to death in a similar way. It's very unique and very extremely well edited. A lot of fun. Not quite a musical, but definitely has at least one really, really good musical number.
Yes, I've seen this one.
Yep,
It's good. All I can think of when you say Bob Fosse is Robin Williams going fussy, fussy, fussy.
exactly. Musha Graham, Musha Graham. We already talked about Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, so I don't have anything more to say about that except Ugly Sonic works with the FBI. And then I saw another musical or movie about making a musical. I saw A Chorus Line
Was it
from
one
1985.
singular sensation?
It was something, yes. So yeah, this was on Amazon Prime, and it's a musical that stuck around for a good reason because it's very simple in the sense of it's just a bunch of people lining up on stage auditioning to be in the chorus for a musical, and then they talk about their lives and sing songs over their struggles. And then of course, not all of them are going to make it because it's like all the people there can only be like 4 boys and 4 girls.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna
Mhm.
make it. Were there lots of tits and ass in this?
There was at least one song worth.
I've seen this movie many time,
Yep.
many a time. So
I
I,
kind
I,
of
I
wish.
like this one.
Yeah, it's good, but I thought it could have been more interesting with cinematography. Did feel very stagey and not in a fun way,
Yeah, they never leave the stage in this film. It
which I
and
understand why if it's like a single location style and that is kind of the whole focus of the movie. I thought maybe with the different dance numbers they could sort of transform into different dream worlds or whatever to be more expressive of the characters and their thoughts. That's what I would have done.
yeah, and I'm sure that's what they would do if they remade it today.
Hmm.
I think
Just to
this
make
was
it a
a
bit more interesting and a bit more variety.
yeah, I think this one could use a good update.
Hmm.
But I do enjoy I do enjoy this movie.
Yes. Then I got a DVD from the library, another one where I watched The Green Knight starring Dev Patel.
Oh, you've actually watched a bunch of stuff I've seen.
Yes, so I finally got around to The Green Knight, and Dev Patel is gorgeous. Of course, everyone knows that.
Yes.
And yeah, and I just a certain kind of surrealism I think really changed the film. It did feel that fantasy, like the scene where he's just kind of like walking by with his fox friend, then he sees giants.
Yeah. There was I think surreal is a good word for it. I really liked this film.
Yeah, and the whole kind of creepy scene with Saint Winifred, like, "Oh, go get my head. It's in the, it's in there." And then she's like, it takes his head back. And so this not quite sure exactly what was going on. And they had the big sort of kind of fake out ending.
Yeah. It's a pretty movie and it's just an interesting story and really well shot and really well told and Dev Patel is great in this. So I would recommend this one too.
Yeah, I definitely watch a bunch more like medieval fantasy movies if they were shot like this.
Oh, for sure.
And lastly, I watched definitely my favorite of the bunch. This was last night. I happened to catch a theatrical screening of it, a late theatrical screening, but it was RRR, which is, and I've told Kyle about this one off the show before, but it's loosely, it's a 3 hour Indian action movie epic. And I had so much fun. It's from Tollywood, so that's southern India. It's about inspired by like what if these two real life revolutionaries in India in the 1920s, back when it was still under British rule, what if they happened to meet? And what if they became best friends? And what if they beat the crap out of a bunch of British people,
Did we just
British
become best
colonizers?
friends?
It might as well have a scene like that, except with much more action. And there's also and it has amazing action, really likable leads. They really play off each other really well. There's some great comedy bits, but also there's a really, really fun dance scene, which is incredible. And also there was an intermission, or as they call it, an interval. It's called interval with 3 R's. Yeah, and it does
I
not feel its length. It doesn't feel long, and I was able to stay engaged and the entire time, and the whole audience was really into it with what I saw them.
Okay, I'm excited to see this one, and after watching the trailer that you sent me the link to, and as of this recording, it actually dropped on Netflix about a week or two ago.
Yep, I did see that is on Netflix now.
So I just haven't gotten around to it. I was gonna try and watch it before this podcast because I knew you were gonna see it, but I didn't get around to it since it's 3 hours and it was this. We're recording this like the week after Memorial Day, so I was gone all that weekend too.
Yeah,
So
so you're busy. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about if you watch it for next time around. But
yes,
yes, an absolute blast. And it is, this movie starts at an 11 and ends at like a 20.
nice. I'm excited.
Yeah, I definitely, if you like action movies, it's like a, ratings wise, I'd probably put it like a PG-13. So I'm sure your kids could probably handle it.
I mean, the guy catches a motorcycle and hits people with it in the
Yes.
trailer. So I mean, that alone has sold me.
Yeah, you got to watch the the Natu dance sequence is probably one of my big highlights of the film because it's just so energetic and the choreography is incredible.
Very nice. All right. Well, yeah, I think this is going to be a shortened episode because that was your last movie, right? That you saw?
Yep. And at one point, multiple times when we were watching it, I leaned over to my fiance and said, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen." Because it
Six
is
out of
just
five stars.
it is an absolute blast. I give it 6 hours out of 3.
Awesome. Well, that gets me even more excited for that movie. So,
Yep. So that's all I had.
uh, before we move on, what do you got on your watch list for next time?
I might just watch RRR again like 4 more times now that it's on Netflix.
Nice. We'll just have that. We'll just talk about one movie. Well, it'd be like a regular podcast.
At that point, we could dissect it scene by scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and watch that too. And then I also rented on Netflix DVD White Heat with James Cagney because I have never seen that before. So I'm gonna
Well,
check
that's
that one
probably
out.
one of his best gangster movies for sure. That's a great one.
Yeah, that's the famous "Look at Me, Ma, top of the world" or whatever that, however that line goes, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I've never seen that before, so I'm excited to watch that one. But that's it for today, and you can find us on Twitter at AwesomeKM,
And I'm at Noah_Saturn. That is spelled SATERN.
and we're on Instagram at We Don't Know What to Watch, and you can email us we don't know what to watch at gmail.com. And until next time, keep watching.
Keep watching.